In the midst of the building of the greatest empires, a small group of people were taken out of the greatest empire of their day, Egypt, and slowly developed into a nation of priests and scholars. In order to survive, they had to learn the arts of war. And they were fairly good at war, but not that good. What they were good at was a consistent theology, a consistent way of life, and a consistent set of principles. And throughout 3,320 years of Jewish history, the focus of the Jewish people has always been the Torah. The question is, if the main axis of relationship between man and God is the soul and the awareness of the Creator, why do we need to have a Torah? So the answer to this is found in the beginning of the Torah. Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'es ha'oretz. Bereshis is an interesting word. It does not mean the beginning. It usually means the beginning of. And there are many different colors and phases of meaning. But one of the most popular meanings, and actually answers the question of why, is Bereshis is Beis Reshis, two beginnings, or Bereshis for the sake of Reshis, for the sake of that which is a beginning. The Jewish people are called Reshis Tvuaso. They are holy to God. They are the first of His harvest. And the Torah is called Reshis Darko, the first of God's pathways. And the words Bereshis mean Bet Reshit, for the sake of the two origins did God create the world. In other words, the purpose of creation was not so that we build tall buildings and develop great societies. The purpose of creation was the soul, which represents Israel, and the doctrine of the soul, which is the Torah. For man, as great as man might be, is an egoist. Our egos get in the way. Well, how can our egos get in the way? Even if you may be the most loving and kind person, it's still you. And you cannot be unified with God because God is everything. And when God is everything, you are nothing. There is no separate identity. How can a person with an ego become one with God? That's only through submission to God's will. And that is the Torah. And so, the purpose of creation was for the revelation of the soul within man. But the soul within man is not enough to connect to God. You must have a will. And that will is the Torah. And there is no other purpose for creation. The purpose of all governments, the purpose of all streams of society, the purpose of all interaction, the purpose of all struggle, the purpose of all galaxies, is for there to be a man, a woman, following the law, following the Torah. And that's it. That's the whole thing in one lesson.